Hello to everybody and a warm hello from Belgium. And it's not raining here now.
Brilliant. I hate to think what the temperature is in your way, Harper.
Actually, it's really mild today. It's only like 98 or 99. It feels really nice, considering. To you guys that seems really hot, but to us, 4 or 5 days ago, it was 120. So 20 degrees cooler. Yeah, this is nice.
Couldn't do it.
I'm in Arizona, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, even 20 degrees on Monday here. Michelle to Marco.
Well, I just have 23 Celsius, so no.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm a small guy. Everything okay in Portugal. Summer came. We are looking forward to 8 p.m. to see if we can win France. And
Well, best of luck in beating France.
Yes.
Hello, Maria.
Hi, everyone. Maria from Ontario, Canada. It's a balmy 20 degrees, so it's my perfect temperature. I actually went to a park yesterday, and we made a bonfire, and we sat there for about 3-4 hours, and we made some sausages over the fire. That's what I love about Canada and the summertime. We can go to a nearby park and make a little bonfire. It's fantastic. Nice to see you all again. Hello.
Good to see you. And we go over to Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hello, greetings from sunny Farnborough. Yes, it's apparently, I just checked, it's 21 degrees here, so summer's kind of arrived. But this morning, when I went for my walk, beautiful sun was up. I thought, great, shorts and t-shirt. Started my walk and then thought, wow, it's cold. And I checked, it was only 7 degrees. And I was like, whoa.
Oh.
So I walked a little quicker.
Always good to do that. Right now. Today's topic was suggested by Maria. So, Maria, it's over to you.
Well, you know what's really interesting, everyone. I used to hear about Bitcoin years ago. Actually, I joined a group that they were talking about mining for coins, right? Bitcoin, whatever else they were doing. And I'm like, my head just wasn't in that space because I'm a real estate investor and, we have a bricks and mortar product. So we know what's going on with it all the time, right? I can visit my homes anytime. And these people were talking about mining for something. I thought, what do they mean by mining? And I couldn't wrap my head around it for the life of me. And I just quit the group because I thought, I don't understand it. I spent so many months going. I had a meeting every once a month. But it's interesting that it's come back into my life again now that, you hear so much about Bitcoin and the different kinds of cryptocurrencies that are out there that I'm actually educating myself about it, right? The differences between them and how, the market is going like crazy now with Bitcoin going down to what, $29,000 a Bitcoin, before it was up to $40,000, I believe. I mean, if anyone's in it, whatever's going on. But I've just started watching programs on YouTube. So I'm getting educated about the language of it and understanding between the coins and the tokens. And like, I'm just starting to understand it now. And I could see maybe in the future me investing in it, but I'm still learning. So I'm always looking for a mentor that can show me the way before I jump into anything, because this is so outside of my realm. So Nick, are you the perfect suggestion, right? So I'm going to leave it at that, but that's why I thought we could talk about something about economy and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right. We're in the right place with the right people. And I'm going to hand over Nick, who can tell us what a Bitcoin is. Well, over to you, Nick.
Oh, gosh. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular. Yeah, I'm lucky enough, I think. I'm the CEO of something called the F2S Fund, which is like a global philanthropy project that we set up last year.
Okay.
And our USP is, or one of our USPs, is that we do it with Bitcoin. Now that hasn't made it the easiest sailing, I'll be honest. But the reason we did it was that it made it available to more third world countries that don't have any really good financial systems. So that was the thing. So it's all decentralized. But you're right, Maria. It is super, super volatile. So you've got to be careful. I mean, this time last year, it was, what are we now? June. Gosh, it was probably only about $2,000 or $3,000, something like that. Only hit $10,000 in about December. And then it went on this crazy, crazy bull run. And it actually went up to $60,000 one stage before it crashed back down into the 30s and has been bouncing around the 30s now for the last couple of months. So, yeah, it's super volatile. Lots of people have made an absolute fortune. And that's the thing, is these people that trade it that really know what they're doing, because they make money on it when it's going up and going down. So, and that is way beyond my level, to be honest. But yeah, and it's the crazy things that trigger it off. I was chatting to someone yesterday because we talk about it, obviously. And yeah, the biggest thing that stopped this bull run was the Chinese. I mean, they banned it already, but they really, considering the whole ethos behind Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies, but it was like decentralized, so no one government owns it all. But China want everyone to use the yen Bitcoin or their version. So they've got their own cryptocurrency which they're pushing. And then Elon Musk, who seems to wield this incredible power over the globe. When he says Tesla will take Bitcoin as payment for cars, the price shot up. And then when he said, "Oh, actually, no, we won't, because it's really, it's really not as green a currency as so that back down as well." But then what someone was telling me yesterday. So he put like 1.6 billion in earlier on in the year. Someone was telling me yesterday he's going to put in towards the end of the year 16 billion into Bitcoin. Whether he does or not, who knows? So it's like, I don't know.
I have a question for you, Nick. Sorry to interrupt, but I was listening to on YouTube, because I enjoy YouTube. We get it right from the horse's mouth. He was saying they were asking if he's going to start his own SpaceX type of cryptocurrency, right? Which would make sense to me, right? I mean, I don't know anything that goes behind all of that. But, El Salvador has taken on Bitcoin as the currency. Like El Salvador has taken on Bitcoin as the currency now, guys. It just happened. And so that's the first country. And then Uruguay seems to be coming in and thinking of doing it. So like you're saying, the third world countries where they have a very bad banking system, there's a lot of corruption. I could see it working. And there's another coin now, and you helped me out with, I don't know the name of it, that is really into the third world countries in Africa. What's it called? Starts with a C. I've forgotten the name right now. It'll come to me. But I'm listening to the shows that the person who is developing this is talking about this. He used to work for Ethereum. He's a part of the group of Ethereum, and now he's kind of gone on his own. Starts with a C, Corona, something or another like that. I'm sorry, I don't remember it right now.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't know. I don't know the one you're referring to, but there are lots, and they vie for positions. I mean, Ethereum was very popular again a few months back. But yeah, no, there are lots of people. I'm amazed Elon Musk hasn't actually developed his own Bitcoin, because that would make total sense. He's got the money to do it. But and there are so many in the pipeline, and they'll all start for like a couple of cents a coin, but if they get enough take up, then it'll grow momentum. Then, but again, they're always going to be that. It's because they're not underpinned by anything. I'm just going to be careful with my words here. I would, in my mind, it's like anything tangible. So it isn't pinned to a base metal or something like that. So is this perceived value? But governments are buying into it. The US have got Bitcoin reserves. France has allowed it now. I'm not sure about the UK, but yeah, it's. I don't profess to know all about it. I just know I can buy Bitcoin, I can sell Bitcoin, and it goes up and down. And I could think there's probably safer things to invest in, if I'm being truthful. I mean, we don't necessarily invest in it. We just use it. We receive dollars worth of Bitcoin and we pay out dollars worth of Bitcoin. If it goes up and down, it's okay.
Right. So do you? I mean, if you're receiving Bitcoin, do you actually keep them, or you try and spend them straight away?
Oh, for me, no. When I get Bitcoin in, I convert it straight away into cash, because it will. You know, earlier on in the year, it was so tempting to just go, oh, you know what, I'm going to skip on this, but then you're going to catch a cold, and so it was nice to be able to actually, like for clients, a couple of clients were like, oh, how do you do that? I was able to say, oh, look, yeah, I can actually, like Elon Musk, not quite as wealthy, I can receive payments in Bitcoin, but it's only because, you know, I had a trading platform that allows people to buy and sell Bitcoin. So yeah, I would always, I don't hold on to it.
Right. Okay. But
If it was up to me, I'd have paper folding stuff.
I mean, our governments are trying to get us all to go green.
Yes.
Bitcoin is not green, is it?
No, at all.
It's not. But then it's, you know, no banking system is. You know, what's the carbon effect of the banks these days? Huge. But no one's done that calculation.
Okay.
So
I mean,
might be slightly controversial, but you know, there's a everything that we do has a carbon footprint. I'm not defending Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, but there's got to be ways of making it less. You know, if there's ways of making it less or more environmentally friendly, then you know, do it.
Because it's. I mean, I can remember back in the day when I and millions of other people left our computers on overnight so that we could help SETI in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Basically, that was using peer-to-peer networking, computer power, donating our electricity in our computers to actually, this is similar, isn't it? Because basically, you're actually using your computer to solve mathematical problems.
Yeah, and there's not a huge amount of Bitcoin left. That's the problem. So you know, it's so they're going to be spending more and more, or it takes more and more effort to mine it. You know, and that's crazy phrase.
Beyond, yeah.
You get your keyboard out and you're digging up your back garden. That's that current that picture to me. But yeah. And then everyone else is going to be the same. I used to leave my computer on because our IT guy said, leave the fan on, otherwise you'll get dust in it. Had I known something,
unless you live in the desert.
That's right.
Yeah. Everything's solid state these days, thank goodness. Marco, would you go into cryptocurrency?
I don't think so. Something for me, it's something, you know.
It is.
Yeah. And there's something I want to ask you, Nick, if you can answer me, please.
Yeah, if I can.
I don't understand. This is kind of a virtual currency, right?
Yeah.
What this mining process is, because I don't understand. Is there someone feeding the currency so it gets fatter?
Yeah, it's basically they're on this algorithm, so they can only be, they've set a finite amount of Bitcoin that can be mined, and and I don't profess to understand the algorithm of, you know, Marco. So you know, to begin with, the mining was easier and quicker, but now there are just so many, and ironically, I think the vast majority of Bitcoin miners are in China.
That's what they were saying.
You know, just doing this, and it's you know, and it's, you know, it's the less there is, because they halve every time it hits a certain thing, it halves or makes it twice as difficult to mine. So either halves something which makes it twice as difficult. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, and so that doesn't seem like a, well, you know, at some stage it will get to its end. But you know, people are, you know, the people that profess to know are all telling me that Bitcoin will be $100,000 by the end of the year, and in 5 years they'll be worth $1 million. So, but who knows? If I have the answer, I don't have a fistful of Bitcoin. Put it that way.
I think what it is if you think about it like real estate goes up in value a little bit every year, right? But now with the hyperinflation, the real estate has hit the top, right? I don't know how it's going to continue going upwards. So now is the time that if you've had your real estate, you can either refinance and pull the money out, or you can sell. So I can see that cryptocurrency, I think, is a long-term investment rather than playing with the stock market going up and down, which is a lot of the times it's being manipulated. They're saying the whales are manipulating this now with Bitcoin. I don't know, Nick, but this is the word I heard, is the whales are doing this on purpose to get the little guys out of it, and then they come in and buy it at a cheaper price, right? So I think if I were to go into Bitcoin or any other type of currency, I would do long term and not play that stock market thing, right? Just hold on to the investment and just let it ride, and then not even ever sell, because you have to pay taxes on it. This is my understanding now with Bitcoin, but rather refinance against it like you do in real estate, and then you have money to buy something else with it, because that's what you do with real estate. So you can do that with Bitcoin, because they're willing to give you financing against the coin. And there's a guy, his name is Michael Saylor. I think you may have heard about him. He was talking about this, right? This is how he's using it as leverage, and that's why he's buying up so much more. He's buying it up all, as we're talking now, he's buying it up. So he's using it for leverage. And I think that's the smart ones would use it for leverage rather than playing the market, which is being manipulated every single moment. Right?
Yeah, because that was one of the things earlier on in the year. I think it was JP Morgan or Chase, one of the others. They suddenly said, yep, they will trade it. I mean, PayPal started to allow you to buy Bitcoin and trade it. So the more it becomes mainstream, that gives it another little bump. And then you're right. And then there will be people that then take advantage of it and inflate the market, deflate it. And that's no different to any forex, really, to a degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to think of what my question was. But the I'll think about my question, but I'll think about something else. After seeing that it went up to, like you said, Nick, about $60,000 at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I think Marina, you'll see people that'll start hanging on to it and waiting for it to hit those high notes and then sell it. I'm assuming it's something like a kind of like a stock, where it's like you can sell it. I'm assuming it's not an actual physical coin, it's an e-coin type thing, so it's one of those, you're selling this, and then, so I can see a lot more people starting to hang on to those. So, and like you said, that one guy is really buying them up. So I think he's planning on doing just that, is really hanging on to them until they hit a mass thing. Because if you, Nick, I think you were saying this time last year, it was like $2,000. And then, imagine if you bought them for $2,000, bought like 1,000 of them or whatever for $2,000, and then you sold them all 2,000 for $60,000. It's like, there's a hefty chunk of change right there. You can retire off of that almost.
Yeah. Oh, Harper, I guarantee you some people would have done that. No question. But it's not the first time it's done this. That's the first time it had gone that high. But a couple of years back, it was busy it was around the $20,000, $25,000 mark. And then it crashed right back down to, a couple of thousand. So yeah.
And there's only a couple. There's like you said, there's only a certain amount that are going to be, available. And I remember what my question was. When you say Bitcoin mining, I'm thinking of people, physically in a mine, like looking for diamonds type things, but it's like, so what is mining? Is that when they're officially creating the Bitcoin in this electronic system, or what?
Yeah,
what does it mean by
yeah, so they're mining this algorithm in order to find bits of Bitcoin. So then they can, so the little miner can pull little bits, and when it's hard to explain it. But then so if you make got a transaction, so if I want to pay someone out in Bitcoin, then the little miners go to work, and it can take normally it takes like an hour or a couple of hours, but sometimes when there's a high volume of traffic, so when it was up at like $60,000, we would make payments, and it might take 5-6 days to actually get mined. So, which a lot of people were quite happy with, because of course it was going up. But then when it started getting down, they were less happy.
Can I just try it in layman's terms, because it's the only way I can approach it. You have on your computer a wallet. That wallet can hold Bitcoin, and it's the only place it exists. It exists on your computer and on a server somewhere. Yeah. Okay. You gain Bitcoin in one of two ways: by carrying out the mining, which is doing calculations. Now, my first question is this: who pays you for the results of those calculations? Is a third party involved? Is actually saying solve this, or is it just you described it as being looking for Bitcoin, Nick?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who developed Bitcoin in the very beginning, but we know there's a certain amount of Bitcoin. So they're mining. So they're doing these algorithms, and they're not finding. It's like they're not finding one Bitcoin, or they're finding little elements of Bitcoin. So when you make a payment, you've got these different elements that come through. Where they get paid, that's a very good question, actually.
Where does it end?
I'm on the other end, kind of thing. So
yeah. And you know what? It was developed in 2008 after the American economic disaster that happened with the banks and all that. And Nakamoto Satoshi, I think is his name. Nobody knows who he really is. He has a Japanese name, but they say he was the one that wrote about this. This was his theory. And then it took off, right? I mean, some people these are people that are computer geeks and university geeks that took it over and kind of ran with it. But it's just like nobody even knows who this guy is, Nick. No one has ever met him. They just know he wrote this white paper, and that's where it took off. But it was because he didn't like what happened with the economic collapse of 2008. He said we shouldn't have this happen ever again, and that's why he wrote about it, and that's how it's taken off. And the gentleman that I was mentioning is he has Cardano. You must know about Cardano, right? It's called, the cryptocurrency is called Cardano, and his name is Charles Hoskinson, and he's a developer of that. And he was on the develop Ethereum with Vitalik, I think is his name, Vitalik, and so that's where he comes from. And these are people from university. These are university professors. This is not just somebody that comes up, a geek. These are people, educated people, and this is all mathematical. So it has nothing. I wouldn't understand. I'm not good with mathematics, except subtract, add and divide. But I mean, this is something like out of this world, right? This new idea of making your own currency, right? And that's why everyone is panicking about it, because you don't need the Federal Reserve anymore. You don't need the banks. You don't need anything. You become your own bank, really, right? Which is a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, I know. See, this is the thing that I think does alarm people, is that because it isn't backed by anything other than it's a finite resource.
Yeah.
That's where the nerves get in. So its only value is what we give it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's quite scary.
That's why I didn't go into it, because I couldn't understand, right? Real estate, I understand. A business, I understand. It's a product, but this was not a product. I said, where are you getting your value from, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a stock of a virtual company, because there's no actual tangible anything. So it's like,
yes.
That's it, and that's why the value can just plummet, and that's why that's why it's so as Maria was saying, that's why it gets manipulated. And I say, the biggest manipulator is the Chinese government and Elon Musk, really.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I find that it's too risky for me as a humble teacher. So I don't have Bitcoins in my portfolio. because it has no fundamental value. It's air for me, and I don't like such great risks.
No, and of course the other thing is if you hold a Bitcoin wallet and make payment, this is totally untraceable because it's basically just an email address.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why it's, as a currency, it's great for people that don't want their payments or their assets traced. Oh, what, like I don't know, terrorists, drug dealers, criminals. It's like,
the black market.
Yeah,
it's an ideal place to hide. But I mean, if we go back, basically everybody used to carry gold around with them, and if you wanted to buy something, you paid in gold. That was cumbersome. So in the UK, we created the Bank of England, and the Bank of England issued promissory notes, or pound notes as they were in the day, and said, if you present this at the Bank of England, we'll give you £1 worth of gold.
Yeah.
And that's the currency we're used to, where the paper is backed by gold. And then it got skewy because there wasn't enough gold. So the Bank of England now issues promissory notes, promising to pay us gold that they don't have, but we accept
we
accept the value.
Yes,
exactly. And they just print more money when they need it. They've been printing extra money since 2008, I think.
2020, they printed so much money. The Federal Reserve and the International Monetary Fund, like they printed more than we've ever used in 50 years in 1 year. Like, I mean, and they just keep printing, right? They just keep printing. So it has no value.
The more you print, the less that value goes down.
Yes.
They cloak it with new words. It's quantitative easing. When we were kids, it was deflation. We just how do you get loads of money? How are we going to get out of it? Oh, we'll just deflate our currency.
Yeah.
That's it. So it's a kind of a race to the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah.
So where do we go from?
Control.
I would get notes and stick them under your bed.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what everyone's saying now. Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett and everyone is holding on to cash. They said hold on to cash because you don't know what's coming on at the other side, right? He says cash is always king, no matter what anybody says. Gold, whatever. Cash is always king, right? Because what can you do with gold? You can't eat it, can't do anything with it, and if not going to accept it. What are you going to do, right? But money, the lowest accepts somehow or another, or use the barter system. I mean, practically, I mean, people are still bartering many things now. But it's kind of we're living in very interesting times, financially and in business. Really is. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before in my life, and I've lived quite a bit. I'm a senior now, so I mean, I've seen so many changes happening, but it's never progressed as quickly, Nick. Harper, it hasn't progressed as quickly. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I guess that goes back to why we didn't let banks fail, wasn't it? Because if the banking system collapsed, then
we lose everything.
What the hell would happen?
Yeah,
but I think it might have been nice to have let a couple fail, but that was just the wrong. They couldn't let it all just fall apart. And it's the crazy thing is, guys, it's all our money.
I know.
It's our taxes and everything that goes through. But it's interesting, isn't it? How it might be throwing us slightly off the topic now, but it's interesting, isn't it? How especially in the UK where we we got this huge deficit. It's like we got a credit card and we haven't paid it off. We're all really naughty, so we're gonna have to be, really tighten our belts and everything. And so we all put a lot of people under a great strain, from 2010 onwards. Suddenly COVID comes along. Oh, we can just print absolutely as much as we want. It really doesn't matter. We can stop the economy. It's a bit like the arguments about what price or what will be the effect on the economy of Brexit. Well, I kind of like, it's kind of gone by the by because no one was talking about the amount of money we're talking about now that we supposedly have to find. But the argument would be, do we have to find it really?
Yeah, that's a different attitude, isn't it? Different attitude. Yeah.
Talking
Well,
of money,
Peter's here.
which we are. Quick question: when's the last time you drew cash out of the bank? When did you go to the bank? When's the last time you went to a bank and actually got cash out?
Actually, that's a very good. That's
10 days ago.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I just sold my old motorbike the other day, and the guy gave me cash. I was like, cool.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what do I do? It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Because that means I've got to drag my backside down to the bank, pay it in. Although someone told apparently this is true. I didn't know this. My sister told me this the other day, and I was stunned. She said you can pay checks in on your phone. You just scan a check.
Yeah, I know. I've never done that.
We've done that here in the U.S. Like me, I'm with a credit union just for military, and we've been able to do that for probably about 6 years. I waited until found out that glitches and everything else were fine. I mean, it takes 3 or 4 days depending on the amount and the type of account that it's coming from. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. I mean, and I live in just north of Tucson, and the closest branch to me is 100 miles away. So I can't really go to. I mean, I don't get a whole lot of checks that are mailed to me or sent to me, but it's an easy way to. It is an easy way to deposit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can go to any ATM. I can go to an ATM and put it in the ATM there, but it's not to my credit union, so it's still going to take just as long. Actually, if I put it in a like an affiliate credit union or whatever, it takes even longer because they've got to look at it going, this isn't ours. What are we doing with this? And then it sits around their bank for a while.
That was my question. My sister, I said, crikey, I said, how'd they process it and check all the things? I said, back in the old days, anything over £50, we had to write our address on it.
That's right.
When you think it's really crazy now. But I said, but also, like, when was the last time anyone saw a check?
Yeah.
Yes.
I get. But yeah, I mean, when what you do is you literally take a the app has you take a picture, a very clear picture of the full face of the check, and then you you write on the back for e-deposit only at that your credit union or whatever, and then you sign it and you take a picture, and they verify that that your signature is clear and that the signature that's on the back matches the name it's to on the front, and but yeah, and that's because there's been times going, it's not signature's not clear, try again, and I'm like, oh. So
yeah, but if you can just send me a check just for test purposes, I don't know, a couple of thousand.
On a personal note, I draw cash out of the bank every 5 or 6 weeks. I just don't need it.
Yes,
because every shopkeeper, everybody expects to be paid by card now, whether it's a debit card or a credit card. They don't want to handle cash. And in the UK, I would say that the vast majority of transactions now are actually by card rather than by real money.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Hello.
Well, hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Aberdeen.
We missed you.
Something I might say, I've got to be honest, I forgot about it. No, listen. I did. I just saw it. I'm exhausted. Did you know I've got a record-breaking thing to tell you about?
Okay.
Go on then.
The other day, I got new scales called Renforce. Right? Renforce tells you everything about your body.
Okay.
So I bought it. And as Nick knows, I'm on this diet. Well, eating plan or whatever. I've lost a pound each day in the past few days because I've been sick. I'm now down to 10 stone 13.
Wow.
I'm a perfect specimen. I'm perfect. Everything. It tells everything about you. There's only one thing, is your BMI, not BMI, body mass index. It's a load of, I've got to tell you that. but because all my club, did you look at the club, by the way, Nick?
Yeah. I saw the link you sent me. Yeah.
So,
well, the video. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got so much energy in the morning. I've been cycling every day, and I can't look. I don't know if you can see me, but look at my neck. 10 stone 13. I can't believe it. And everything is in the green apart from the beer bar, and I'm just nearly there anyway. But anyway, I've got a funny story to tell you about paying for things. The Chinese takeaways that I see here, you know what their sign says?
Nope.
Cash only.
Yep.
Cash only.
Yep.
I paid for a coffee by cash today, and at this time of year I get quite a bit of money cash as well coming in during the summer. So the older people tend to have cash put away. So the old people have got it under their mattress and things like that. But there's a problem with that, because there's a load of moths going about just now, and they may eat them. So that can be a problem. But I'm absolutely exhausted. Yeah. So there you go. So that's my story about.
Oh, can I ask Peter? Can I ask you a question about your diet though? When are you actually going to stop and just maintain a weight?
Well, that's an interesting question, because
all the skin.
I won't be happy until I'm down to 21%. But the BMI is a load of rubbish. But good question. According to my height of 5'5", I should be 10.5 stone. And to be honest with you, there's nothing of me already. Nothing. I've got a lot of bones. I've got a body. I'll give you a link. I'll show you the link I've got. And we went through it, and so the girls and the ladies in the club said, Peter, they were so jealous, they really were. And the world says, my God, I says, yeah, I'm a good catch, am I? So, and it was green, above average as well. My plenty protein in my body, everything's perfect. Some things are above average. There's nothing. It actually, believe it or not, says I'm borderline overweight according to BMI, which is rubbish. It's rubbish. The BMI it's not right. But it's mine. It's me. Was you wondering where I was?
Yes, we did.
You were. We expected you here at 10 to 5 sharp.
Yeah, well, I've got to tell you, I've got a new staff. We started a new guy this week, and he didn't know it, but I always give him like a driving test, because I says, come and meet me, get him to come jump in. And he says, am I driving? He says, I'm not paying you for me to chauffeur you about. Get in the van. So they're gonna, and I'm watching the way he's driving. I says, why? Right, in Britain, left-hand drive. When you're driving along the road and you make a manoeuvre to overtake or whatever, what are you meant to do once you've done that manoeuvre?
Move back in, Peter.
Move back to the left. And the amount of van, I says, right, first of all, I said, what's the speed limits in the van? You got nearly right. I said, what, 60 in a dual carriageway, and then 50 in an open road in the country, and 30, 40 when you have to. I says, why are you sitting in the outside lane? I says, what's your maximum speed here? And he said, well, 60 or whatever it was. It was a joker. I says, so what are the cars behind you allowed to do? He says, right. I says, get into the left, you're causing a hazard. These people are passing you on the inside. And why are you going round in second when you should be in first? All these little things. I says, you might not like this. I says, but it's my vans, and I want you to drive defensively and appropriately. Remember, you're on trial for 3 months, and you've turned up unshaven. which I don't like. Not a good start with me. For your safety. Not a good start. I'll guarantee you shave tomorrow. That's me.
We look forward to hearing in 3 months' time whether he actually improved enough to stay with you.
I'll tell you, the reason he got the job was he's ex-military, and I says, look, I always give, no matter what, I give ex-military the chance. And then I says to him, what do you think of your beard? I said, what do you think about your beard then? He said, oh, my partner doesn't like it. I said, it'd be a good opportunity to get it. I says, because for your health and safety with your mask, I need you to be closely shaved. And that was it. And then Andy, the supervisor, Andy sometimes doesn't shave either if he's rushed. I said, how long have you been with him? 2 days. And you're showing him bad habits. I look at the gross in him, 2 days gross. And it's just a subtle way to say, I says, how's a tenner? Get some drinks, right? When you're out on the road. And when you're passing Lidl's, could you get something else? He goes, what you want? And I says, razor blades.
Oh, dear.
just to get the message across, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I says, now, I'll see you tomorrow. I want you to read up on wasps and everything. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, because you're getting an exam first thing in the morning. That's how I train him. It's great. Come wrong for a cup of tea means you're getting an exam.
Yeah, nice. What was it used to be called? Interview without any coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, because I said to him, no, I'm like Cato. You remember Cato?
Oh,
No.
Clouseau.
Right. So Inspector Clouseau.
Oh, Inspector Clouseau, yes, I know.
He used to jump out cards and everything to keep him on. I says, I'm like, I'll call you on for a coffee, or I'll tell you to meet me, and I'll jump in, I'll buy you a coffee, and then I will proceed to hammer you with questions that customers are going to ask you. Okay? So that's your only warning.
And how many tribunals do you get normally?
then I say to them, they've done it to Andy. He says, Peter, he says, do you have to keep asking me these questions? I says, do you know it all then? Well, I know a fair bit. That's fine, because the next time somebody asks us in front of us, I'm not answering. You are. And well, it was the wife who went in and she asked loads of questions. I says, Andy, I'll answer that for you. And Andy got, when I says, was you embarrassed because you couldn't get that answers? He says, okay. A fair cop. He says, I'll study. There you go. That's what I do.
It's like what?
Anyway.
It's like when are you going to stop asking questions? When you all right?
No, it's just because it's funny. A woman phoned in today, and I says one of the things I forget because I'm not out all the time is the questions. And Maria, this is a woman had clothes moths, and I said you got clothes moths, and I told the leasing agent. But the woman phones me direct because they're paying direct this time. I wonder if I asked me a few questions, and I looked at the guy, and we had our Costa coffees, and I says, "No, listen in. Bum, question, answer. Bum, question. What have I got him?" I says, "Because they don't like you."
No, they don't like you. Good sense of humor. Good sense of humor.
She says, "I've actually learned a lot from you, but you're so funny." And that's just sort of thing. I says, I've got 2 questions to ask you. Yeah. Do you want to use my services? Oh, yeah. I says, how are you paid? That's it.
That's it. That's the most important things.
With Bitcoins.
Bitcoin.
No, I'll tell you something. There's no Bitcoin coming into this business. I want real money. I want to know it's there. And somebody like Nick Wood doing a disappearing art with my pretend money. No way.
My pretend money.
One day, Peter, you may have no choice.
You don't have it in your hands. I mean, one day I'll be walking about with silver bars in my back, crawling along the ground and say, it's my money. No, I don't like. I went to a garage. Sorry, I'll let it back. I went to a garage away out in the fields in the middle of nowhere, and the guy come up. It's a bit like that westerns where you go into a place that they don't know who you are, and the chances are they'll eat you. You know. And I went down there, so he was really old, and he come out, and they actually had a pump that went for gasoline, as you would call it. And I says, do you take a card? No. Do you take a check? No. He says, I only take money. You only take cash. It was in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
And he goes, there's a bank across there. Go and get the money.
Oh my goodness.
So they're still out there. I went to a woman. You ever seen a whore? Maria, have you ever seen a hoarder?
Oh yeah. Oh well, I've seen on TV. I've seen it on TV. Okay. Yeah.
I went to his house and the neighbour had phoned me and says, my neighbour needs you. She's got bees in the place now. And she says, no, she's a bit eccentric. I'll just work. Well, I went to the house and she opened the door and she says, no, I haven't had time to tidy up. And I walked in and I said to myself, I don't think you've had time for 10 years.
Good sense of humor. Good sense of humor.
She says, I'm tidying up tomorrow. Anyway, that's enough for me. I hope you give you some laughter.
You have. There's no doubt about it.
Did you watch the football last night, Peter?
Absolutely not. I couldn't care. I hope the ball burst. That's how much I care. And there's not another ball to give them.
Just to explain, it's Euro 2020, even though it's 2021, but they kept the name because the next one will be in 24. And it's where 16 international teams get together in a knockout competition. And we've got England, who Nick and I are cheering for. We've got Portugal.
Yes,
cheering for. But until last night, we had Scotland as well. And I was speaking to Fraser Hay this morning, who's a friend of Peter's and a fellow Scot. And he said, I watched the match last night. I wish I hadn't. I said, how well did they play? And he said one word, which I can't repeat now, live on air. But the Scots were not pleased with their team last night. But
no.
Marco, you're playing tonight. Well, not you personally, but your team.
Yes,
Marco himself.
They might need me. Yes, we are playing at 8 p.m. our side.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. The thing is, though, we can't be too cocky about the Scots because I think we play either Portugal, Germany, or France next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good at getting through the first stage and getting to the quarterfinals. Our problem comes after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ever since 1966, and we're going back a bit now, 1966, we actually won the World Cup. Now, I can't say that often enough. It was the World Cup. We won it. We beat Germany. And we've been celebrating ever since because we've never got that far again. So wish Portugal well tonight. I'll be watching them on the television, on the news channels, and following what actually happens. Okay, now throwaway topic. Is your garden neat and tidy, or have you gone totally natural and allowed the weeds to grow and the flowers to grow to help the bees?
Yeah.
Bees, sore subject.
Mine's real easy.
It's Harper's turn. It's Harper's turn.
Yes.
I don't get weeds. I really don't. I don't get weeds at all because nobody in my part of the area has grass, so there's no dandelions. There's no only things that drop are seedlings from either trees or you know, I don't know what this big wild. We get these big bunches of wild grass. Just, I mean, it's like huge, and it's like okay, but it doesn't like spread where you get like a bunch of grass. But I don't get very many bees, but I do when like the end of May, beginning of June. You know, the big old postcard cactuses that you see, the really tall ones and everything else. End of May, beginning of June. End of May, they flower on the top, and that's our state flower for Arizona. And then after that, the flowers fall off, and then a fruit grows. And and so I mean, it's actually really good for you. The Aztecs used to use it back in the day for recipes and medicine, all that kind of stuff. But the animals just love it, and the bees and birds and the bees and everything else just really cling to that. Now I got a bunch of dead fruit things all over
breaking up? Is Harper breaking up?
I can't hear you.
No.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, we can hear you. I think Peter
Peter,
can.
I can't get a question for you, but I can't understand his question.
What's your question, Peter?
I'm saying you were breaking up there all the time. Is somebody else getting that?
No, I could hear everything. I could hear everything.
I mean, it must be my end. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, but all of our cactus blooms at different times. So every cactus has a flower. I didn't know that, but they only bloom if they've gotten water. Like right now, most of my cactus are really like what's called prickly pear. It's almost like a pancake, and they're all really thin right now because they have no water. They're basically dehydrated. So when the monsoons come and flood everything, end of July, beginning of August, they'll get fat. And so that's how you tell if they've got water. So if you're stuck out in the middle of the desert, there's no there's no water, so you're not going to get anything. I had the misconception when I was growing up that the big tall cactuses stored water. So I figured, if you ever got stuck in the desert, you can poke a hole in there and drink. You got a bunch of water. That's not how it works. There's actually 6 or 8 little wooden poles inside those big cactus. I never knew there was even wood in a cactus, but it's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Well, they sell
I got birds.
Sorry, I was going to say they sell prickly pear in the grocery stores. That's kind of interesting. You're telling us that.
Yeah, those are, and they're really cool. They flower really nice too. They've got some that flower yellow, some that flower red, and they're beautiful. And the bees just love those things. So
yeah.
But no weeds. So
no weeds.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Now that it took up way too much time on mine. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. That's
two weeks ago, I was about to cut the grass, as I normally do every 2 weeks. And then Gallica said, no, don't cut the grass. Leave it for the bees. Okay? 'Cause the wildflowers will grow and the bees will be happy and we'll be doing our little bit to help bees. Now, I'm just hoping that I don't have to cut the grass until about September. That would be good for the bees.
Perfect. I let my gardens go wild. Now, the grass gets cut because we have to. Right? I mean, I live in an area that you have to cut the grass, but I really love the natural look. I love the forest. That's why I'm going almost every day to walk in the forest. That's not very far from my home. It's just so beautiful. And you know what? Like I say, a weed. I mean, you can choose to call a weed, but you can love it for its flowers too. And a lot of the weeds are edible. And like I eat a lot of the weeds too in my salad. So I mean, like they say, one man's meat is another man's poison, right? So the same thing with the wildflowers. But I love the wildflowers, Stephen. So that's a really good question. I'm a naturalist. Naturalist.
Right. So next week, then bring photographs of your garden, and we can see who's got the wildest garden.
Oh,
Who's helping the bees the most?
See how bee friendly we're being.
Peter, you were saying that bees are bad news.
Oh, no.
Peter's moving.
Look.
Look,
he's going to the garden.
Wow.
Peter,
Beautiful garden.
very lovely.
No,
Very lovely, Peter. Oh my goodness.
Stephen, you talk about bees. We actually have a bee here in the Southwest in the desert that is actually that will actually kill you.
Oh yeah. Yes. Killer bees.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. We actually have killer bees. Kind of reminds me of that old 70s TV show,
movie.
70s movie. African killer bees.
Yeah. But weren't they supposed to be moving up, Harper, from South America up to the United States and then up to Canada? I haven't heard very much about it anymore. Do you have any more information about?
Well, not the. I'm not talking about those killer wasps. I'm talking about those. I'm talking about bees. There's a killer bee that. Yeah, different than those mutant things that
hang
were
around
attacking us
in leather and shotguns.
Yeah.
My dad was a beekeeper, guys. He was a third generation beekeeper. So I've learned not to be afraid. But I mean, the wasp is a completely different insect than a bee, right? When you the bees, when you cultivate the bees, you have them in boxes and you get honey from that. I mean, my dad loved his bees. He would even go pick one up, it fell down, and bring it into the house, and he would get them to make sure they bit him, they stung him, because it was good for his arthritis. And that's what they do in Europe. They let them stings for their arthritis, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, from Bees Are Nice, Peter, can you tell us your take on bees?
Yeah. It's your turn, Peter.
Me?
You mentioned, bees.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm actually allowed to eliminate them. And we've had a lot of calls for bees just now. It's all bees. And because of the complications with them, I charge about £250, and people can't believe it. And I say, I'll tell you what, go and phone someone else, whatever you want, and then come back and they said, you knew, did you? It was, nobody will touch them.
Yeah.
But I know the legislation. I once had somebody say, why don't you get them relocated? I says, because we can't get to them, and they're in people's homes. But I'll tell you what, if you think you're that good, this is just a member of the public, give me your number. I don't want to kill them, but I'll give them your number, and you can fix the problem for them while I get on with killing wasps and making money, because we try to help them, and that's how I handle it. Look, you seem to know all about this, and that's what I do. So give us your number, and I'll get the phone, and you help. And that usually ends the conversation. Same with cyclists. Oh, you've got it in for cyclists, have you? I said, let me tell you, I'm a road user. I've drove a Chieftain tank, a lorry. I'm a bus driver. I'm an advanced motorist, and I'm a cyclist, and I've done a scooter. So I know that about being a road. But here's a challenge for you. My club's got plenty spare bikes. Why don't you come out one and experience it? End of conversation. Disappear down a hole, never to return. And this was in the local paper Facebook page. Gone. This is turned into always going to disappear in that. But what some judges are in here, they've got bait riders just now. You're meant to pass 1.5 meters from the cyclist. So they've got a policeman going about, or a policewoman going about on a bike, and if people cut them off, they've got a camera and a radio, and they'll say, blue car just passed us, pull them in, and they say, do you realise how close you are? Do you know how dangerous it is? So you've got an option. 3 points in your licence, £100 fine, or a bike course. What do you want to do? They take a bike course, but
Yeah,
they don't.
I take the bike course too.
Me too.
What the local bus depot done was they got a load of drivers and got them on bike and put them in a line, and they got a bus to screen past them. And they were all going, whoa!
The things they do in Scotland. Over to Portugal, Marco. It's over to you.
Right.
Yes, Marco. We have to hear from Marco, and we have to hear from Chris.
You've been quiet the whole time.
You know, be very quiet.
I made
Next-
up for the time.
We will talk about B's. We will talk about C's. We will talk about E's. We will talk about all alphabets. And wish me luck. In a couple of hours, I will be suffering, trying to beat the Frenches again. So let's see. Let's hope that next week I will be happy. Otherwise, I don't know how the show will go.
Oh,
We'll be happy, or our topic will be how to dig yourself out of a hole.
Yes, yes.
That's a good topic. From around the globe, thank you for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Have a great week.